We are indeed live.
Yes, we are.
Oh, we are?
Yes,
we are.
Oh, really?
So, fight fans, as you can see, we've got big news to relate. Here's the boxing panel this evening. We have a few absences due to urgent family matters, but we've got Neil the Deal in the house, Knuckle Up's Mike Gore, myself. And as you can see, bottom left, big fight news. We got Manny Pacquiao versus Errol Spence. Big announcement just happened about 30 minutes ago. So I think we'll start off with that news, and then we'll roll into the what I call the Fury Fiasco.
Oh, God.
And then how about we talk about Josh Taylor? Because I really enjoyed that conversation we had with Last Bell last night. And I think we have a few more comments on that. And whatever you guys want to talk about. All right.
Right on.
So Pacquiao versus Spence.
Wow. I can't
That's
believe
a big one, guys. That's a big one.
I agree. I thought Pacquiao was out. I never thought I'd see him in the ring again.
Well, you know, the 42-year-old Filipino southpaw to once again enter the history books as the only boxer in history to claim world title status in 4 separate decades. Why wouldn't he? You know what I mean? The whole signing the deal with Errol Spence, so wow, that's going to be an unbelievable bout. You know, both these guys are very talented fighters. Pacquiao a little later into his career. You know, I don't even know what to say, man. Honestly, I think Errol Spence might take it.
Yep. That's what I'm thinking, Mikey.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Errol Spence is going to take it. Pacquiao's been out of the ring. I don't even know how long now. Right. It's been a damn while, you know. But he is a highly decorated boxer. 62, 7-2 with 39 knockouts. You know, he has not fought since his 12-round win over then unbeaten Keith Thurman in July of 2019. So now we're looking at you know, almost 3 years out of the ring. So it's going to be it's going to be nice to see if Pacquiao has a whole bunch of ring rust, man. It's going to be difficult, you know. I think to return to the ring after a 3-year hiatus, no matter how much you spar and how much you train, you know, you can't train ring rust off, man. It's ring rust just happens from not competing. And you know what? It's going to be a great bout. None to say. Manny Pacquiao always puts on a great show. We always know that. You know, just Errol Spence, so man, you know.
I like Spence there, Mike.
Me too, man. I can't.
WBC, WBC and IBF champion, right?
Yeah.
He's a lot younger. Pacquiao's kind of he's a big name, as we all know. Obviously, one of the biggest ever of all time. Obviously, it's going to bring in a lot of viewers, and which is great. Well,
definitely, because Spence win over Garcia and Porter both topped separate Fox Sports pay-per-view events, and they sold big tickets, right?
Yeah. So I'm looking at a really good fight there, Pacquiao and Spence. It should be a good fight. Like, Pacquiao's not going to lay down for anybody, as we all know.
No, man, the guy's a warrior. He'll probably end up dying in the ring one day.
Probably.
Let's be real, man. The guy's got enough money to buy the country that he lives in. You know, he sits. He said, what is he, a senator or a mayor or some crap like that of his country? And, you know, he doesn't really have to box. It's just, you know, once you're a boxer, it's hard to get rid of it. And it goes to show that he's willing to step in the ring at 42 and, you know, test himself and to see if he still got it. But you know what, at the end of the day, we're talking about Manny Pacquiao. You know, only 8 division champion ever in history of boxing.
And he's got something to prove. So it's going to be a great fight.
It's gonna be a war. It'll be a war. But you know what? I say Errol Spence takes it. He's my man. I'm getting behind Errol Spence on this one. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I'm liking Errol Spence too, guys. I'm liking Errol Spence too in that one.
So, and that date is set for August the 15th, right?
21st.
Or 21st?
August 21st, I believe.
Well, yes, August 21st. I don't know if they have anything confirmed of where it's going to be yet.
I think it's at Las Vegas.
I thought Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Then it'll probably, if it's going to be Las Vegas, yeah. If it's going to be in Las Vegas, there's many venues. We'll just have to see which venue they're going to pick. But it's definitely going to be a fight of the summer for sure. It's going to be a war. I'm totally into it. It's going to be great. Yep. And yes, I believe Pacquiao is going to get taken apart by Spence. Man, he doesn't stand a chance. Like, honestly. Next up, I guess let's talk about this the Fury Fiasco.
Whoa!
Like, wow.
Let me say though, before you speaking of war, Speaking of wars, I don't know if you guys noticed the war of words that was going on between Eddie Hearn and our boy Fury today. My goodness. It was going back and forth. There's no love lost between those two chaps, that's for sure.
Definitely. So the fight has been signed for. That's the one I believe is August 15th that fight has now been signed for. It's going to be. It's going to be.
I thought it was July 24th.
Or sorry, July. Yes, you're correct. I stand corrected. It was set for July. It's going to be great, actually. Fury still, thinks he's going to whoop his ass real quick, but Wilder has changed up his coaching, man.
Yep.
He's got his he's changed. Wilder's changed who he's training with. So he's saying that we're going to see a different Wilder in the ring. I don't know if we're going to see that, but at the end of the day, it's Wilder, 42, 1-1, 41 knockouts. We got to be careful of that right hand, no matter what. No matter how good you are, it's gonna happen. You got to be careful of that right hand. I can't believe, it's going to be a 60-40 split for the purse. Fury's going to take 60. Wilder get the 40 as per their contract. It's crazy how, we were supposed to see this Joshua fight happen with Fury. And, it just goes to show that those contracts are they're binding. We've all been sitting here waiting for this huge fight to happen. We've all thought that, there was going to be this step aside. And now there is no step aside. It's not going to happen. The arbitrator said this is going to happen. It's got to happen before September 15th. It's now been set for July. It should be the venue that Bob Abrams says that is leading the front runner is Allegiant Stadium, which was just built a couple of years ago in Las Vegas, which I think would be a great venue to hold that fight. I think it'd be awesome. But then, you got Fury saying, hey, listen, Joshua, cool your britches. I'll beat your ass right after I'm done beating Wilder. So let's see what Fury's going to do. I love Fury. I love watching him. Wilder, he's also another great fighter. Let's see what he brings to the table. He's changed up his entire training staff. All his trainers, all his coaches, his strength and conditioning coaches. He's gotten rid of them, and he's got new people. Are we going to see a different Wilder, or are we seeing the same Wilder that we've seen in Tyson Fury, Wilder 2?
Their war of words reminds me of the glory days of the late 70s, early 80s, between Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, Larry Holmes. Those guys were always yapping at each other. And that's what these guys kind of remind me of. But it leaves Anthony Joshua in a bit of a quandary, doesn't it?
Where does that leave him, guys? Now he's out of the mix, right?
Well, no, there's fights lined up, man. That's the thing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So who do you think he's going to end up fighting? He'll have to.
Usyk. I'd like to see him fight Alexander Usyk, because Usyk said that he would take Joshua so that the Fury Wilder fight could happen. So you know what? I'd like to see it.
I think Usyk could get beat.
I believe so as well. But it'd be nice to see it. But don't forget, Usyk, even though he's stepping up in weight, did compete as a heavyweight all through the amateurs. So he is he's no stranger to being outweighed and outreached and always being the smaller guy. And his fight game does show, that when you watch him fight, man.
There are a couple of other heavyweights, though, to consider. When we're talking with the Last Bell Boys last night, they did bring up Joe Joyce, for example, Dillian White. There's a couple of fellas who could step into that ring, go toe-to-toe with Joshua. But would that just be a warm-up? Because let's say Fury wins, and I'm not so sure. I've seen some of these training clips of Wilder, and he's not looking the same as he once was looking. And he might give Fury quite a battle. So it's not a cakewalk for Fury. But let's just say Fury wins, and let's just say Joshua wins. So now we've got ourselves set up for finally a Fury versus Joshua fight. That's what I'd be looking forward to anyway. But there's lots of wild cards in the mix. And it's not for certain he'll fight Usyk.
No, because honestly, just like our comment here from Last Bell Boxing, Usyk's wanting an 80%, 20% kind of purse there, and you know what? Honestly, that ain't gonna fly.
That ain't gonna fly with anybody, Mikey.
No, that'll never fly. But Usyk's got his head in the clouds and dreams of grandeur. So somebody's got to bring him back down to reality and let him know what's going on. But you know what? Here's the thing with the heavyweights, man. We've been waiting so long for the Joshua and Fury fight to happen that we've had this buildup and influx of guys that are waiting, to fight these guys. So realistically,
right,
Joshua has a lot of options. He's holding 3 belts. There's a lot of options there that can be in his corner. Only time is going to tell what he's going to do next. But right now, we know what's happening. It's set in July. Fury, Wilder, 3 as per the contract. You know what?
Crazy.
Is it too late in the game to see a man change up his entire game plan? Maybe, maybe not. We've seen it done with other fighters. Is Wilder the guy that can do it? We don't know. But the only thing is that Wilder has that right hand. And you know what? His record speaks for it. 41 knockouts. You can't deny that power is there in that right hand. Yes, he's given it to Fury a few times. Fury has been dropped in the first fight from those hands, but has continued. So are we going to see the same guy that we saw in Fury Wilder 2? Maybe not. Maybe we will. Time will tell. Guys, it's going to be a great fight to watch. I can't wait for this to happen. Yeah, it's going to be excellent.
So let me ask then a quick question over to Neil, because he wasn't part of the discussion last night and might not have seen it. Yeah. But if Wilder loses the fight to Fury, do you think he'll hang up the gloves?
No, I don't think he's going to hang up the gloves by any means. I think he's still got a lot left in the tank. You know what I mean, Mike?
He does have a lot in the tank, but I've also heard rumors that he only wanted to fight one more time.
Right.
Well, yeah, I haven't heard anything about that.
See, the thing is, Fury outweighs. I'd be surprised too, but there's always other things than boxing, right? The thing is now that Fury's not going to get the $75 million payday.
Right. Well, that's the thing. It's all about the payday.
It's all about the payday at this point, right? Now the $75 million is gone. He's fighting for far less against Wilder. He gets a 60-40 split, but you know what? We're not talking $75 million. So does he get back in the ring after that? Probably. He does want to fight Joshua. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
But when does that fight now happen after this fight happens?
Well, I was going to say, yeah. Here,
right? Now,
who's he going to fight? I'd say, well, he's going to want to fight Joshua or something like that. He's not going to want to fight any guys like kind of lower in stature than who he's been fighting, and he's not going to want a huge pay cut by any means. You know what I mean?
No.
But so that's the point. That's the point. If Joshua loses to Fury, right? Let's say Fury beats Wilder, Joshua beats Usyk, then Fury fights Joshua. Joshua loses. That leaves Fury. Now, you think Wilder's coming back around? I don't think so. And I don't know if there's anyone else out there that at that point could take on a reigning champ like Fury. And maybe Fury will quit at that point. Maybe he's had enough. I mean, that guy's drinking 10 pints a day off on his days off. So maybe he's made enough money. Maybe he's ready to hang up the gloves. Who knows?
Bring back Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Come on, Tyson.
Maybe Fury will join that LOL.
Yeah. Honestly and truthfully, I believe that if Fury Joshua would have happened, Fury would have retired after the Joshua fight, because that was the rumors. After that, he has nothing left to prove. Really, he becomes the baddest man in Great Britain, taking out Joshua. But now that's not happening, when does that fight happen? How long does it take for that fight to happen now? Right? For that to get back in the works, because we're talking about having that fight in August, but now in July we have the Wilder fight because it had to happen before September 15th. Now, does Joshua pick up another fight while waiting for this next fight, or does he sit in the background and wait for Wilder to finish up, the Wilder Fury, to finish up, and then let that fight happen 3 to 5 months after?
That's what I'm saying. It's a fiasco. All right, on to the next quick little topic here. What do you think, boys? I really like that discussion we had. Josh Taylor versus this. It's going to be what I would call a bloodbath. I mean, these guys are going to go at it old school. I mean, I'm really looking forward to this fight. It's going to be a good one.
Definitely. WBC, WBO champion Jose Ramirez. He's the pride of California Central Valley. And, we got IBF and WBA champion Josh Taylor. And, we're talking undisputed, man. And this is the year of undisputed and unification matches. I can't wait to see this, man. Ramirez, 26-0, 17 knockouts. He's been a world champion since March, of 2018 when, he topped Amir Man via that unanimous decision to win the vacant WBC strap. But then you got Josh Taylor. I really like this kid, man. He's 17-0, 13 knockouts. He fought as a lightweight in the 2012 London Olympics, where he advanced around 16. Well, he didn't turn pro until 2015. He won the Commonwealth 140-pound title in his 7th pro bout. So we have two guys that are highly decorated fighters. Taylor's my man. That's what I'm sticking with. Taylor's going to come out. I believe it's going to be a battle that is definitely fought in the center of the ring.
Yep.
I believe that these guys are not gonna stand away from each other. They're not gonna be ducking each other. These guys are getting in there to bash it out and see who the undisputed champion is.
Yep.
This is going to be the fight of the weekend, if not maybe one of the fights of the summer, to be honest.
What do you think, Neil?
I agree with you too, Mike. I like that analogy, Mike. I think it's going to be right in the middle. It's going to be head to head. These guys are going to go toe to toe. I like Taylor too. And he's Scottish, so I gotta like Taylor. You know what I mean? So, I think
the Tartan tornado speaks for itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the tornado speaks for himself. Exactly. Or
yeah.
I think didn't he have a nickname, the Tartan or something like that?
Yeah, his nickname is the
Tornado. Yeah,
the Tartan tornado.
Tartan tornado, exactly. So it's going to be a fantastic fight, though. There's no doubt about it. Both those guys can really throw the leather. You know what I mean? And
definitely,
they're definitely. And again, you said it's a unification fight, so nobody's giving up in that one. It's going to go head to head. It's going to be a really good fight, and I'm really looking forward to it as well.
Did you notice anyone on the undercard there? I didn't have.
Yes. One of the guys that I profiled last week, actually, Jose Zepadilla, is fighting Hank Lundy for the WBC silver lightweight title. Elvis Rodriguez is fighting Kenneth Smith in a junior welterweight bout. Also, Andreas Cortez versus Eduardo Garza for the junior lightweight bout. And then also to start off that, we got Javier Martinez, we've talked about him, and Calvin Metcalf. They're fighting in a middleweight bout. So this card is it's pretty good with some young and up and coming guys that I've been profiling over the last couple of months. Definitely, these guys are young and hungry and undefeated, some of them, and we're going to see some good fights. Definitely on the undercard. So you might want to tune in for that, guys, because it's definitely going to be an epic event. But again, Taylor, Ramirez, it's stealing the show. Well, what can we say? Also, the Eggington versus Molina is going on tomorrow. That's the WBC silver middleweight title up for grabs there. That should be another epic bout that we're going to see on the cards.
I believe we get to see it in North America. Is this the one they were saying they couldn't see over in England?
Yes, it will, and it will be a war. Definitely, mark my words. It's going to be a war. Hopefully nobody gets seriously hurt, but it's definitely going to be. I think it's going to be a knockout weekend. I think we're going to see some good knockouts. Definitely, maybe as flashy as Boatsi's his knockout of the Frenchman.
Yeah,
which was a devastating hit from last week.
Well, did we call that the double shot?
Oh yeah, we called that though in the double shot. Double shot with the lawn chair leg fold.
Yeah,
he crumpled.
It was brilliant. It was brilliant.
So
I believe over in the UK, they get to watch it on Fight TV. I think so. It's actually a pay-per-view for them.
Yeah, they were definitely not liking that Fight TV option. That's for sure.
No. It's unfortunate, but it happens. Just like they get to watch stuff that we don't, unless you use that secret streaming platform
that we have.
Oh,
it's all about who you know. Hey, listen.
Yeah, that's right, man. That's right. What can we say?
So Neil, Mike today had an opportunity to speak from one of our friends down under, Miyamoto, live after her battle and victory. And it just occurred to me, you know, we've been talking about the weekend fights, but I don't hear any girls' names coming up. So who do we have up and coming in the world of women fighting? Anyone you know coming up?
Myself? You're talking to me, Graham?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I don't know a lot about the up-and-coming female fighters, to be honest with you. Mike's more of an expert on that one, that's for sure.
You got
but I know that there's that there are definitely a lot moving up the ladder. Hey, Mike? Yeah. There's a lot of girls that are really getting involved in it now, which is really good. And like I say, I'm just starting to actually start watching more female fights. So,
well, I think the whole world is.
Yeah,
everybody is watching female fights
because they're not fake like wrestling. To be blunt, these gals are really going at it. They're really swinging for the fences, and some of them are getting those knockout punches delivered. So, you know, and like I mentioned last night, Ebony Bridges came out looking like she'd been through a war and enjoyed it, and told the world she enjoyed it. She looked like hell, but give her a few weeks of recovery and she's back to who she is, and she's looking forward to her next fight. Our gal Scarlett Delgado was interviewing another under girl, Christy. Golly gee, forgot her last name. But Christy, if you take a look at the female fist today, has all sorts of injuries, all sorts of bad luck related to her fight career. But nonetheless, even with all that, she still wants to get in the ring. She still wants to duke it out. And she was mentioning, quite frankly, all the up-and-comers who are so excited to be part of the Olympics from all around the world. And it gives because they have to bring up the level of equality in the Olympics. You know, you're seeing a lot more women being given that chance, and a shot for gold in some of these developing nations is really worth something. Not to mention here in North America and certainly Europe, I'm sure, but around the world, women fighters are taking notice of this opportunity, and this was mentioned today in that discussion. So, I mean, you spoke to me, Motu. She's all about getting back in the ring. She's got like 6 fights lined up, I think. But
you know what? She's got the rest of her year already planned out, to be honest. Yeah. So, you know, it's just whether or not the competition backs out or not seems to be the problem that she's having. And you know what? I don't blame them, man. When you watch her last fight against Michaela Jenkins, who was obviously the bigger and, you know, heavier fighter, you know, Mia brought it to her, man. And those heavy hands, they're vicious. And, you know, she's getting better as time goes on with every fight. And, you know, she's scary, man. She's a scary individual to get in the ring with, and she's ready and hungry every time she's in there. And you know what? It's just great watching her fight. Also, you know, I'm super excited about Jessica Camara, man.
Yeah.
Winning that last fight. Like, you know what? Talk about making the right moves and fighting the right fighters. You know what? Jessica Camara, the Cobra, get behind her, man. There's another up and coming. You know, she doesn't have many fights under her belt, but she is very well-rounded individual in the ring, heavy-handed, great ring IQ. Always going to get behind her. There's other women to watch, man. Former amateur star Sandy Ryan has just signed a promotional terms with Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Boxing. She was the 27-year-old derby boxer who claimed gold at the 2018 Gold Coast Commonwealth Games and silver at the 2014 World Championships. And she's a lot to be talking about too. Also, we got Melody Popovic makes her pro debut on the Undercard Showdown June 19th at Buckhead Fight Club, and there's another girl to watch there. So you know what, women, they're making headlines right now, and they're making a lot of moves in boxing. And like I said, man, by the end of this year, it's not going to be called women's boxing, man. It's just going to be known as boxing, because these women are doing it, man, and they're doing it right every single time they're in the ring. It's not a boring fight. These women, they get in there and they give it their all every single time. And, you know, there's no ducking and dodging. These women are just ready to fight, ready to get in there, ready to prove themselves. And you know what, man? It's about time we start paying them the way they need to be paid. Guys, promoters out there watching, pay up, man. Pay up for these women to fight. You know what? They're bringing in more draw right now than some of these boring-ass fights that you guys put together anyway. Right. You know? I'd rather watch two women go at it that I've never even heard of than some of the guys I'm watching now on these pay-per-views. And it happens all the time. I watch fights all over the world every weekend. And I'll tell you, the women are impressing me every single weekend. There's always something to talk about in a woman's bout every single time they fight because they just give it their all. They lay it all out on the line. And you know what? They go balls to the wall. And they got more balls than most of these men right now, man. They're getting in there and they're swinging. They don't care. They don't care about damage. They don't care about laying damage, man. It's women's boxing, man. Now, we just got to refer to it as boxing and just refer to these people as boxers. That's it. And it's going to be the year that they're going to market, and they're doing it, man. And every time we see these women fight in the ring, it's the same thing. Impress, impress, impress.
Yeah, I like it. I've been liking all these women's fights that I've been watching this year so far anyways, Mike? They've had numbers of really good fights. You know, the Katie Taylor fight, the Sinisa Estrada fight, the Cecilia Brækhus, I think she had a fight. It was a lot like all these. They're all coming up, and they're all making a mark that I see is propelling the female boxing. They should, like you said, they should be getting a lot more pay for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
And they should be getting a lot more, onto the bigger fights, getting the undercard. You know what I mean? Getting on there and getting some recognition for themselves because they're exciting fights. They're really good fights. So I've been enjoying it.
I'll tell you right now. These girls getting on these undercards are doing these cards justice. You know, because honestly, everybody wants to see these women get in there and box because you know what, they're giving it their all, man. They're not holding back. They're in there to prove something, not just themselves, but to prove something for the entire sport itself, known as women's boxing. So every time these women get in there, they have a lot on their back. There's a lot of baggage they carry when they get in there, man. They got to get in there, and they're not just doing it for them. They're not just doing it for their team. They're doing it for their opponent. They're doing it for every female competitor in the sport right now. That's what they represent every time they get in there. So you know what? These women have a lot of pressure on their backs when they get into that ring. Not just the pressure of, the fight, but the pressure of women's fighting and what it's becoming and where it's going. And honestly, I'm 100% on board with this. And I think that the women are really doing the fighting game justice right now. And they're keeping people interested. When you get things like Joshua and Fury go on and on and on and on and on, and we got all these heavyweights waiting, we got all these boxing fans waiting for these fights to happen. And what happens? Nothing. We get crap. We get fights that, this mandatory. No, man. You know what? You want to see exciting fights? You want exciting cards? Throw some women on it, man. It's going to be the best. It's going to be the most exciting thing.
Right on. Before we sign off here, any final words?
Carl, Last Bell Boxing. Thanks again for all the comments, brother. We love you. We support you. Thanks again for letting us on the show yesterday. Definitely, Lennox Lewis is Canadian, just to let you know, when he won that gold medal. Just let that in there. Cheers, Carl. Thanks again for watching, brother. We'll talk soon, definitely. Neil, yes, again, thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me out.
It's been the best.
Yeah, cool.
All right, Fight Panel fans, watch around the world. Another episode. Make sure you tune in next week. Also, tune in Sunday to find out the knockouts of the weekend. Definitely. If you like it, share it. Jab that like, hook, subscribe. Knock us out those comments, baby. You know what it is.